Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Hello.
Day. Hi. Good. We're thankful that everyone is up here today or is coming to join us in. We'll give you a couple more minutes to tag and share somebody to come on in. We're trying to learn this new thing that Facebook got us doing. We can do a little bit more today than we could last time. So that's good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do our signature song for today and give everybody a chance to come in, say who you are and where you coming in from so we can acknowledge you today, okay? All right, guys. And we do not own any rights to this music.
These are the moments our dogs deserve a treat. Yet we give them the same old stuff. Time for something different. All of them tasty and
so we're hoping everybody had a good day. And we're going to get started with it.
That's a good song to just get up and get ready for work.
Yes, pump up. That's what had me this week pumped up.
Good Monday morning song.
Hey, come on in. Got a job, didn't you?
I got a job here. I don't want to go to it though.
All our work is different, but we going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, LaWanda. How you doing today? Thank you. You remember this song, Nene?
I know the chorus. That's
Can you hear
I know
it?
the words. I can hear it. Yeah.
I ain't saying for y'all, but I need some energy drink, y'all. Where the camera at? Woo! Need it.
So cheers. We got work to do.
Yes, girl. I need a whole lot of this to get this stuff done. That's when you got a lot to do. You gotta have some energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whole lot of energy.
We're talking about work today.
Yeah. All the time. Home, then at work, then come home, got work at work.
Women are many hats.
Woo!
Our work
Yes.
is never done.
Never done.
Never done.
Never done.
Absolutely.
You better use it to pop your phone up.
I just wanted to take it out the camera.
I did excited with that. Ooh, that's gonna be ended. All right, guys. So we are here. We're giving enough time. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to start on time. My girl said we don't never start on time. Hey, Didi! How you doing?
Hey, Didi.
Hey.
Didi gonna kill me.
Oh my
Then
goodness.
we got work to do, and here I am dragging my feet, girl. I owe you a phone call. I am so sorry. It's been a busy week. T can say I've been pulling my hair out all week at work. But anyway. Anyway. Whew.
Yes. All right. So what we're doing up here today, we got dialogue. I'm gonna try to follow this dialogue today, so don't pay me too much attention. Okay. We already did our song. So we're going to introduce ourselves today because I think we have a really good topic. And we want to give people a chance to get up here because this is a good topic that we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be really, really, really interesting. So first of all, we're gonna go up here. My name is Tanisha,
I'm Shakia.
and we're Tanisha and Shakia on Sundays. And we're up here today because we're up here motivating women, inspiring women to do what they need to do and to make sure that we can live our best life possible. Okay. So we're happy that you all are joining us today. And we have a wonderful guest to discuss a very common topic that many women have faced one time or another, or may be facing today. But before we introduce our guest, we want to handle some Sunday business and give a couple of shout outs. First of all, Kia gonna do our disclaimer. We had to find out some of these little things. You know, we doing this little podcast, but we still gotta back ourselves up. So our disclaimer that we said we're not therapists and
Oh,
okay.
we're not therapists.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doctors. Yeah.
No, we're not therapists, we're not doctors, and we're not
Me
we
on
just
the
giving y'all
spot. I'm like,
our,
huh?
what was our own what?
Oh, unpopular opinion about most of these things. They are our own experiences. They are your experiences, and we're just, we're just having a conversation.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing more than that.
Helping each other out. Other than that, we do have our lovely guest who is well qualified in her area.
Well, yes.
Okay, so
Then let us know what's going on that.
So but on the other hand, us, we just talking.
Yes, that's it. So what we're gonna do too now is we're gonna give the birthday shout outs. Anybody got any birthdays this month? Any anniversaries? Any celebrations? Any celebrations?
Mine is Thursday, my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, girl!
Thank you.
All right. Anybody got any celebrations? Put them in the chat. You got the business owners, please put them in the chat as well. Any podcast members or any podcast that's going on, or anybody have podcasts that's joining us tonight, put your podcast in the chat so we can go in and support you. We try to support one another. Can't none of us do this by ourselves. But one thing I learned that back in anytime a pandemic or something came on and we go through a recession or go through something has to be birthed and something has to be done. So we starting this jank out. All this old stuff that may not be coming back no more, we bringing some new stuff. So we got to come on out here and do it. We got to support one another. So we got a podcast, we got a business, you got any type of thing that's going on, go ahead on and put it on in the chat so we'll know what's going on. People may not see it right now, but you best believe somebody will go back and read this later.
That's right.
And they might not see it on Facebook. They might see it on YouTube. You never know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do that. And Kia, I think we got some old wells. You got some old wells? Got an old well today? You don't got no old well? Anything in the news? Anything going up?
Nope, nothing's in the news. I haven't had time to even check the news. I'm telling you, I've been getting off work and going straight to the shower, eating a little bit, and going straight to bed, y'all. It's been one of those weeks, I'm gonna tell you.
I know that's right. Nene, you got any old wells or anything in the news after we introduce you? So we can go ahead and introduce you.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. So y'all, what we're gonna do? We're gonna introduce our guest, Nene Wendell. And we're going to let her introduce herself so we can begin.
Yeah,
there you go, girl. Let us know who we're talking to today.
All right. My name is Nene Windham. Thank you so much for having me on as a guest. I have 18 years of experience in human resources. Also have my own business as a life coach, and the business name, the website is The Essence of Her, which is an acronym for Honoring Everything Reimagined, and a podcast that I'm actually gonna start up still working on that, but that's coming up soon.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's the old well off. We're talking about women and conflicts in the workplace.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, guess what? Me and my sister went out yesterday to the winery. And we saw a lot of women out there. You know what I'm saying? We saw women hanging out with their friends. They was, getting their little drink on or whatever they're doing. So we ended up going to eat dinner. So we went to a late lunch. We hadn't mentioned nothing about our conversation today that we're going to have today other than what people had seen that we had posted. Guess what the topic was? Women in the workplace.
It always happens that way.
Yeah, that's confirmation. Yeah.
Yes. So guess what? Oh, well, if you work with women, or if you have a supervisor, or if you a supervisor, or whatever the deal is, you need to come on up in here with us tonight.
Mhm.
Because like we said, we ain't exposing nobody's information. This stuff people go through every day.
Mhm.
But what we have a resource specialist that can tell us how to keep ourselves out of trouble.
Right.
In the workplace. You know what I'm saying? And we just want to have a conversation with y'all. So
Yeah.
we can go ahead and start it. You got a question, or how do you want to break this out?
I guess we'll just give the floor to Mimi and see how she wants to start off. Like what are some of the common things like that you see that's like, I mean, because it's so widespread, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many things, like from supervisors who you already have the role.
Mhm.
Like, you really you don't have to like throw your cape every time you walk into a building. You already have the role. You make the money.
Mhm.
Everybody know who you are,
Mhm.
but you have to make your presence known and your title known every time you walk into the building. So that leaves a bad taste in your workers' mouths, you know, and it causes conflict and it causes problems. It makes your people who are up under you not even want to perform for you.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just so widespread. Like, I don't even know where to start
I know
because it's.
Yeah. What we sometimes fail to understand is that even though you have a supervisor, you have a boss, these women are people before they come to work, right?
Mhm.
They're people
Mhm.
outside of work. So whatever insecurities they have outside of work, they bring those insecurities in work, right?
Mhm.
Also with work and working in a male dominated, environment, most times we have to make ourselves known and we have to make our presence known. So not only do I have to make my presence known with my own employees, but in a male dominated environment. So I have to come with that extra oomph to let them know that I can do the job. And that sometimes can be leave a bad taste in other people's mouths, right?
Mhm.
So again, if I'm insecure about how I'm presented outside of work as a woman, as a person, as, maybe I don't think I'm a good mom or a good wife or all these other things that are just going on, that's going to show up at work. And
Mhm.
what we sometimes we have a difficult time doing is separating that. So separating your home life from your work life, because again, it shows up. And I also have to present myself because being a woman, a lot of people don't feel that women can do the job or that we're too emotional or that we're too this or too that. So we have to go in there with that extra, I can do this thing or I can be this, lack of better words, this BI, whatever,
Mhm.
because I have to show that I can do the job and that I'm not some pushover or whatever the case is. And unfortunately, it filters down into your workers, and then people don't want to support you or don't like you because you're coming off in this bad light.
Right. Or you
Yeah.
always have something to prove
Right.
when you really don't have. You're like, your respect is already there,
Mhm.
because we're dealing with that situation now where
Yeah.
I work. Like, we already have mad respect for you. Before you even reach the building, we preparing for you to come.
Oh, right.
We
But if I
preparing.
don't feel that, yeah. But if I my own personal life don't feel that way,
Yeah.
I'm not going to show up that way. So yeah.
Wow.
You don't even know, but you got us shook. We losing
Yeah.
sleep because we know you coming.
Right.
And you still come in like a bull, and it's not even needed.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and then you leave and you got people like, oh, Lord have mercy, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? They ready to just go
Right.
bananas. But like you said, it's something mentally going on outside place, and it's hard for them to disconnect from that.
That's
That when
right.
they get to their job where they already owning this is something that this is your
Extra
baby.
Right.
You can manipulate and you can you can take good care of, and you're losing it
Right.
because
Right.
you lose workers behind it.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
also too with women are just in general as a unfortunately our nature is to compete. And it's to, you know, and it comes in, even if as a worker, sometimes, and I'm guilty of it too, sometimes you have a boss who probably isn't the best boss or the best supervisor, and or you come in and you have, and how many times have we had to train our supervisor or train our boss into certain things that we have to do ourselves, and that can come off too as being inadequate and not feeling comfortable, and then now you have this person who is quote unquote beneath you, teaching you how to do things that you should be able to do as a boss. And again, that shows that incompetency, and that shows that insecurity in yourself too. So that comes across as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think I have experienced a lot of issues, you know, in the workplace. I've worked with the state, I've worked with the county, I've worked with, you know, small business owners, I've worked with, you know, they're not just all working with me. Right. Most of my experience in working conflict in the workplace is because people were the lack of experience they had as being a supervisor or a manager. Right. Okay. A lot of women, you know, a lot of people get jobs because they know somebody they hook them up with. Okay, you get hooked up with this job, but you don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Then as me, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna go get a person. I'm gonna learn what I need to learn. And I'm not there just doing the job. I'm trying to learn the job because I'm trying to move up. Right. You know, the employees, they are doing the actual job itself. Right. Supervisors of the employees are there to supervise, to make sure that the employees are doing what is on the job description. Right. The managers over top of the supervisors are learning how to manage the operation of the job. And guess what the owner doing? Making sure these people here to get money. Right. So my thing is, when I was an employee, I had to train my supervisor, and in turn, because supervisor want to do equal, I didn't turn the manager. And that they became intimidated with me. Right. All I wanted was a job. Right. But you're not gonna make my job difficult because you don't know what you're doing. But in turn, it makes them, like I said, it made them intimidated because like, oh, she doing this. But what difference does it make? You get paid more money than I am. You still got to tell me what to do, but I got to tell you how to tell me what to do. Right. The problem. Right. But it seems like it was like you said, insecurity. It could have been jealousy or whatever it was. But it's just like people are not experiencing what they're doing. And then they get there and it's like, okay, just do the job. Why do we have to feel so inadequate when we already have the position? Right. But if even though you have the position and you don't know what you're doing, it's still gonna shine through. And people, it does. Yeah, and people put on this face, but people can see beyond that mask, and they know that. So, and it shines through every single time. It does. It does. Yeah. So that's my thing is these people, some women are not experienced. And I'm not going to say women, but you know, some of the conflicts, that's when you start saying the conflicts in the workplace. Is that people are not experienced with what they're doing. And what happens is when they come to train you, it shows it's not experienced. I'm gonna say this right here. They used to get me all the time. And people say, I hate this person, she on my team and all this stuff. Don't talk bad about your team if you are a supervisor, because all that shows right there is you a bad supervisor. How you gonna have a bad team, and you supposed to be training them? What does that say about you? Everybody team bad. Everybody. Yo, she don't come. She did. Oh, she don't follow direction. What is it saying about you? Everybody on your team are not against you. Everybody on your team is not that way. So what does that say about you, the leader? Yeah, absolutely. And not all supervisors obviously are good supervisors. And like you said, sometimes people are put in the position because of who they know and not what they know. So you get into a role, and then again, when that insecurity comes through, it's everybody else's fault. So you're pointing the finger of what this person isn't doing and what that person is doing, as opposed to you not being the leader and leading this person or training these people how to do the job that they need to do. So if these people aren't listening to you, if these people aren't doing the jobs that they are supposed to do, or they don't know what they're doing, that's a reflection on you and how you are and who you are as a supervisor and as a manager. Because as your team is supposed to be able to do what you're doing when you're absent that day, or when you're, let's say, on maternity leave or somewhere, off work, your team should be left and not
and not in shambles and know what to do in your absence. So if that team is not able to do that, then that's a reflection of you as a supervisor.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right. So what are some of the conflicts that you've seen that, with women?
I've seen a lot. I've seen competition where, like you said, people don't know what they're doing at work, and then they have this competition with their supervisors. I've seen girls at work. Girls, the high school translates over into to work. So I say a lot of times that work is nothing but grades 13 through 16. So it's still high school, and you bring those same personalities, those same insecurities, that same competition into the work environment. You're just getting paid to do it. So it's the same thing. And this whole thing, which I still don't understand, working in HR for so long, is, oh, this coworker doesn't want to be my friend, or this coworker's talking behind my back, or this person, like, just go in, do your work, and go home. And I like to say this too, and even being in HR and seeing the behind the scenes things of everything, work friends are really not your friends, right? Mm-hmm. You do have that few and far in between where you can hang out after work and do things like that. But we develop these friendships at work, and then as soon as something hits the fan and it comes down to your job or their job, best believe your job is at risk and not theirs. So I like to tell people that too. Your friends at work are not your friends at work. Trust and believe. Any messages you send in text messages, I see those when something comes up at work, right? Or any social media post that you put on work on social media, and someone gets mad at you or something like that, and they want to get you in trouble or don't want to get themselves in trouble. I see those posts, right? Unfortunately, if you're starting relationships outside of, just like if your girl likes a guy at work and you guys, and something happens and is this guy who doesn't want to get in trouble, and you guys are sending like risky text messages. Unfortunately, I see that too. So just be careful that your friends at work, 9 times out of 10 are not your friends at work. And I like to tell people that they're not keep that separate. Keep it separate unless you know the person like before work. And I would even still be iffy about that, because people, when it comes to their job,
I know what you're talking about. They choose that money first.
Yeah.
Wow.
I see everything.
Ooh. Gosh.
So
that's want to or not.
I know you see it, girl. You be like, "Oh, I'm not." Lord help, prepare me.
Again. You know what, guys? Y'all put some questions in the chat. Just some random questions or whatever that we making. Just expound on or whatever. I'm trying to see some other different issues. But me personally, I've been self-employed for 10 years now, so I had to come out of that. I couldn't deal with that anymore because it was just absolutely too much. People were just so jealous of you trying to get your own stuff. Trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? And that's so sad because people get upset because you get different promotions. Right. That's a conflict at work. Right. People get a promotion and then you get mad because you get promotion, but you ain't doing no work. Okay, we got we're on the assembly line. I'm just going to use that as an example because I've never worked there, but I've heard people talk about that. That we at a process center. You know what I'm saying? So we got to box up so many boxes or whatever we got to do. Susan box up 12. I box up 24. But then when it comes to evaluation time, she get upset because I get a higher evaluation and I try to move up. But why she think she gonna move up? You ain't doing nothing. But then it don't always go that way. Because sometimes the people that ain't doing that get it, and the people that's doing all of it don't. That can be a conflict too. Because sometimes the employees want to keep you, and you working. I need to keep you working because she ain't gonna work. All you gotta do is just manage you. I don't need her managing me.
Right.
That can be a conflict a lot too. Because I want the extra money. I'm working hard. So how do I look at that? Do I keep working hard? Do I don't work hard? I just work how much they're paying? They're paying me $14. I'm getting 14 hours worth of work. We're gonna divide this up into minutes.
Right. I think that all depends on the person, and a job is a job. for me. I've been again HR, but a job is a job, and when you're someone's employee, you're that person's employee, and you have to work, you know, sometimes harder than the next man to get the promotion, to get the raise, to get, you know, any extra benefits that is entitled to that job. I'm a huge believer in work-life balance, though. So don't overdo yourself at work. Obviously, if you got bills to pay, you want to do the work. But I think we also have this this grind culture that we're all, you know, this best thing and do it, you know, more than someone else or do it better than someone else. But keep in mind that, you know, you may not be able, you can do all that you want to do. And if your supervisor, who may be a woman or whatever, doesn't like you, then that's that promotion, no matter how much you do, that promotion, they're going to give it to someone they like or someone they know or something like that. So I think that we should also, that's another conflict that happens where you have a supervisor, you sit here and you're like, oh my God, how did this person get this promotion and I do XYZ more than this person does XYZ? And then come to find out they're friends with the supervisor or you know, some other thing that's going on. So that's another conflict that I forgot to mention that happens a lot at work and the work environment.
And unfortunately, when chain of command doesn't work, like I can't go to my immediate supervisor. Now, this is just an example. What if I can't go to my immediate supervisor, and we know that you have to follow the protocol? Okay, you go to your immediate, and then they go to whoever theirs is, and then it goes over to, you know, HR or whatever. But if that's not working, so now they consider you going over their head. Now that causes plenty of conflict at work, of course, because now they make it extra hard for you.
Right.
I'm trying to think, but they call that you doing what's that term they call that?
Subordination.
Yeah, it's subordination. See, I couldn't stand that. I will always
well, insubordination is if, let's say I'm your supervisor and I give you a task to do and you blatantly don't do the task. Or if I say to do something one way and you do it another way, then that's insubordination. Going over someone's head, which is what you said, the term of going over someone's head is if I'm your immediate supervisor and as opposed to you coming to me to talk to me about your issues, then you go to another supervisor. However, if I am the issue, I can't go to you with my issue if you're the issue. So then you would have to go over that person's head to talk to the appropriate person. So insubordination, and you could get rid of that for insubordination, but insubordination is if I give you a task to do as your supervisor and you blatantly just don't do the task for whatever reason. Yeah.
So do you guys get a lot of those cases where, you know, I just got to skip right over my supervisor and come straight to HR?
Or how do we handle that? If we do get those, how do we put it down on here?
Yeah, and it depends. Also, it depends on the company. A lot of, because I call myself an employee advocate. So I'm there for the business, but my job is to make sure the company doesn't get sued. And in order for me to do that, I have to be an advocate for the employee, right? You have rules to follow. We have regulations and policies to follow, but I like to keep an open door policy. So if you're having an issue with your supervisor, you can't go to your supervisor, obviously, or you don't feel comfortable going to your manager, who is that supervisor's manager, then I always have an open door policy where you can come to HR. And again, it depends on the company. I've always been, whereas if an employee comes to me, and I've had it happen several times where an employee came to me instead of going to their manager, then I would go and talk to that manager and say, hey, let's have a sit down, a one-on-one with you and this person, and then I'll be the mediator in between that. The good thing about that is that the manager can't retaliate. So let's say I'm your manager, you go to this one, and then just because you went to the HR person, I'm not going to give you hours for the next week. That's retaliation, and you can't do that. So that's protected. The employee is protected by that. A lot of employees don't know that, but a manager can't do that. If you feel that you're being retaliated against because you went above this person's head, they can't do that. So, but I've had that happen several times, and I just say, let's have a sit down conversation. And because you're not comfortable, and that's okay. Like you may not be comfortable, or you may not know how to articulate what you're trying to say to the manager. I'll be the mediator. I'll sit in on that conversation, and then we can talk it out that way.
That's very important, because that's what happened to me when I was at DMV. I was working with the with DMV, and I didn't have a mediator to sit down with me. And my supervisor retaliated against me. And when she retaliated against me, she tried to make me quit. So she dropped all my hours all the way down to driving 30 miles to work for like 2 hours a day. It's like, come on, I work an hour shift. You're going to jump me to 2 hours a day? But by me being a wager employee for the state, it was like I had to get permission, which that was wrong. That was only for the state employee. I was a wager. I was a P14. So I had to get permission. They told me I had to get permission to work at another job. I had to get permission to work at nowhere. I'm not a state employee.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was putting me at a crunch to quit. But and I'm glad you said that, because what I ended up doing was,
we see your response, Didi. We coming right to you right when she finished.
But what I ended up doing was I called the EECO because they were clearly discriminating against me, and it had to do with race and all that. It had something to do with me not having the right channel I need to go to secure my job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you said about the retaliation, because sometimes as a supervisor, and what we said, we're not talking about different things, guys. So whoever's looking at this later and saying, okay, we talking about this ain't no, what we call it? This not a little gossip thing. We're trying to help young women that have kids and families or whatever. What are the right things to do in this job? In these things, we don't know. If we don't know, we go and talk to somebody to help mediate with this stuff. You lose your job every day. Okay, she fired, and then we try to go get unemployment. Guess what? Denied. Why denied? You see what I'm saying? These are conflicts that, not just with women itself, but because we are talking to women. These are conflicts that women have in the workplace. You know what I'm saying? Men ain't had these many conflicts, because I don't say why I ain't gonna talk on me. I ain't no man. I don't know. But I know as a woman, these are conflicts that I have had. Kia have had. Other people have had. You know what I'm saying? So that was just my comment. I'm glad you said that, because that's what happened to me. And I had to go to another step. I had to step back. I got fired. Okay, I'm going to the EECO. I went to the EECO. Everybody got fired at that job. I mean, they didn't get fired. They bust the whole office up. Oh, she got let's move. Well, hey,
good.
You got me fired.
And the EEOC is in place for that too. A lot of people either they don't know about it, or they don't feel comfortable going with it or going to it or whatever. But unfortunately, jobs are not all good jobs. Bosses are not all good bosses, and the EEOC is in place for that. It's in place for if you feel like you're being retaliated against, if you feel like you're being discriminated against, if you feel like you're not treated fairly, the EEOC is in place for that, and it's for you to use. So it's there.
That's right.
It's there.
Okay. Let's see what Denise said. Can you read this?
I've had a lot of jobs where I have exceeded the requirements or expectations quickly, but was not promoted due to upper management not wanting me to go higher or past them.
That's a lot.
And that happens a lot. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. And the thing is about that, though, because you have those people who, again, are intimidated by the word. People see potential in you. Right? People and bosses see potential in their employees. People see potential in them. If they think or know that you're going to do better than them, then they're going to hold you back. My only thing with that is that because you're working for someone else and you're an employee, then that's where you have to make the decision of, am I going to stay here and be stagnant and left behind? Or am I going to seek other positions or another job? Because you're not obligated to be at that job. Right? You're not obligated to be at that company. So if you feel as though that company is holding you back from you being your great self, then that's where you have to make a decision and say, hey, look, these are the things that are going on. I know I have the potential to do better and to do more. That's when you have to make the decision to move on and not wait for a position or wait for a company to move you forward within your career. That's your life and your livelihood and your lifestyle that you have to maintain and live.
Right.
And
Like
it's
no.
unfortunate that happens.
And it does. Unfortunately, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just something that we, we want, but it does, it does. It does a lot. I guess a lot of people fall into like harassment at work. That's an issue that a lot of people have. They feel they've been harassed, from different issues. Okay. Like you say, we almost feel like you're walking on eggshells because they don't know something or a rumor that goes on at work. You know what I'm saying? People have rumors. Okay, she did this, or something that happened outside of work, and they bring those issues into the workplace. And that's a conflict.
That is a conflict. And a lot of times where if you have a problem or issue with someone outside of work, that creates a hostile work environment. And a hostile work environment should be reported to human resources, because no one should have to go into work and feel uncomfortable working, right? So if you're in a hostile work environment, or you feel like you're being harassed for whatever reason, whether it's with another person or your boss, whatever the case is, that's what HR is used for. And a lot of times, and I get it, trust me, I get it, HR gets a bad name, right? Because a lot of people feel that, and unfortunately, sometimes it is true, that HR is for the business and for the company, and that even if I go in there and complain to HR, they're not going to do anything about it. And that's true 95% of the time. However, there are some people or some HR representatives who are there for the people. And if you feel as though HR is not doing what it needs to do, that's what the EEOC is in place for. So you have these resources that you could use if you feel that you're being retaliated against or whatever the case is, outside of you not being promoted into a position that you feel as you should be promoted into. I think that in itself is your responsibility to do that and to move outside of that company or whatever. That's you have to live, you have to eat. But outside of that, the EEOC and the Department of Labor, that's what they're there for. And they're very underutilized, extremely underutilized, because people don't.
Yeah, a lot.
We don't know. We don't know what our rights are in jobs. You know what I'm saying? And
unions, they don't even know. Like, we didn't even know that we had a union, but teachers union.
And then you're paying into union dues and don't use them.
Right.
And union dues are not cheap. I mean, they're not that expensive, but you're still paying for them. So use them.
And that's sad, because basically when we go to training, for new hire training, they talk about some of these things, but they don't talk about all of them. And I guess, as an employer, I ain't gonna tell you too much, though. You use that stuff against me, you know what I'm saying? Because in actuality, if they are hiring unqualified managers and supervisors anyway, the less stuff they tell you, the more it's protecting the employer. Because if I have too many cases, I can have a lawsuit. And they're not looking at Jane or Tawanda or, Tamika as being the supervisor. The lawsuit goes against the company.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? These people that work on them as being supervisors, so they get rid of y'all gotta go. Because now you messing with our money. As a production thing. You know. So that's something. So I guess a lot of people, like us women, we have kids, so we have death in our family, we get sick or something like that. Can you talk to us about time off or leave or whatever? Or, it's been times I've requested time off. I thought I was getting it. Then all of a sudden,
they denied it.
Okay, I got this in writing. So do I take my time off and get written up? What I do?
Okay, so what time off? What people? A lot of us don't understand. Our employees don't understand. A company, time off, your PTO, your paid time off, is a courtesy from the company. The company does not have to give you paid time off. That's why in some states, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but some states, the state gives you sick leave because the company does not have to. They're not required to give you any sick leave, any paid time off. So if you request time off, and it depends on if they can do it, like if the department is fully staffed or staffed well enough to do it, then they can do that. paid time off and approved paid time off is at the company's or AKA the manager's discretion. So unfortunately, they don't have to give it to you because it's a courtesy, right? Is it the nice thing to do? Yes, but they don't have to give it to you. Just like with FMLA. So if you're going out on leave outside of maternity, like a medical leave, unless it's an approved medical leave by a doctor, the medical leave does not have to be approved. It's by the manager's discretion on whether or not this is a leave that can be taken. Obviously, if you're pregnant, then if there's a whole pregnancy discrimination and all that, right? So they 9 times out of 10, they're gonna let you go. But the leave and the time off and the sick time and stuff like that, vacation days, that's at the company's discretion, and it is a courtesy to the employee. So it's not something that the company is obligated to do.
Yeah.
But I thought that if people get personal time off, they don't get no personal. Everybody doesn't get personal leave. That's at the job discretion if you get the PTO.
And that was, you're right, Denise. That was a learned thing for me today. I learned something new today myself, because I thought once you give it to me, it's mine. Like you can't tell me when to use it, how to use it, if I want to use it now, you know, and you just be denying it. Like, it's mine. It's, you know, I've either earned it or, you know, like.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, so if let's say a company says, for example, they give you a week off, a week of vacation, right? Let's say you want to go on a vacation and it's around Christmas and everyone wants to go on vacation around Christmas. And there's 5 people in the department and 4 of the 5 people want to go on vacation during Christmas. I can't allow 4 out of 5 people to go on vacation because then I have no one working in the department. So 9 times out of 10, whoever comes first or seniority or however they do it at the job, that's who's going to get approved for it first. But for me as a company to say, hey, I can only give you this one day off and then you have to come in the next 4 because we don't have anybody here, that's at my discretion to do that as an employee.
Wow. Okay, so we talked about the sick leave. First of all, no, we talked about the paid time off. That's a courtesy. The sick leave, okay, you get so many, each job is different. They get so many sick leave days. Okay, so before we get into the FMLA, a lot of women, a lot of us don't understand at what point of time that we go over our sick time that we need to request. Can you explain to us what the FMLA is?
So FMLA is the only thing FMLA does is protect your job, right? So for, let's say for pregnancy, up to 12 weeks in any calendar year, it protects your job. So it's saying that if I go on maternity leave for these amount of weeks, when I come back, that I'm going to have a job, whether that same job or a comparable job to that job that I left when I went on maternity leave. It does not pay you. That's a separate thing. That's disability, short-term disability that pays you a percentage of your full salary. The only thing FMLA does is protect you from your job, or protect you from losing your job.
But okay, let's say that again. Y'all pay attention.
So FMLA is job protection only. It does not pay you, right?
No pay.
And what that job protection is that if I leave my job, let's say in January, and I come back and I have covered and I'm making up these weeks, I come back in May, right? It's saying that when I come back to the job, I have a job that's comparable to the job, if not my same job that I had before I went out on leave. Okay.
So what are some of the things that you have to have in order to have FMLA? Because it's not just for pregnancy. You know, right. It could be can you let us know what some of those things are?
It's any medically approved absence. So whenever there's, because FMLA stands for Federal Medical Leave Act. So anything that's medically related, whether it's your physical, like your medical or whatever, whether it's mental. So you could get off if a psychiatrist says you're too stressed out at work, or you have something where you need to go on a mental break or whatever. As long as you get a medical provider to say that this person needs to be out at this certain amount of time to for whatever medical reasons, then that falls under FMLA and you could get coverage for that.
Y'all heard that? You hear that? Did y'all hear that? If your job is stressing you the heck out, and you go to your doctor and you go to the right people and they say, I believe you need some time off, you need to go talk to somebody in human resources for the FMLA. But you have to have it documented and approved by your doctor. Get them to send you a piece of paper, a notice from a doctor's note or whatever, and put a letterhead.
That's right.
Take it to your HR department and have the right attitude and say, look, can I submit this in? Because as we're talking as women now, we are overstressed with a whole lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Not knowing we could have took some time off to get ourselves together.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Look at that.
Yep. And FMLA also, I want to plug this in too. FMLA is not only for yourself, but it's also for a family member.
Talk about it,
or a child or things like that. So let's say, God forbid, your child has to have surgery or something like that. FMLA, as long as you have that medical document that says you're the caregiver to that person, you could take FMLA and be approved for that as well, for however the time you need that within that given year.
Wow.
Well, let's do it.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Just have your coins up.
Yep.
And
you should have what you need to do to take that time off. My mom was ill before I moved back to the location I'm at now, and I needed to take some time off because she had, her health was failing. They gave me 6 weeks off for me to come back and relocate and help take care of my mom. After my time ran out, I ran out my FMLA leave.
Right.
But like you said, it offered me my job back, but it wasn't full-time, it was part-time, but I was still able to get back in the job.
Right.
So I can go back and forth and then work myself back up because I was working in sales.
Right.
But this is very good because if I would have known this earlier, I could have already had done this before my mom had got too sick.
Right.
So you mentioned something about short-term disability.
Yes.
If they're sick. Now, say for instance, I have a employee that has cancer and she's out for a couple of weeks or whatever, and she runs out of her FMLA. I really want to keep her at this job, but it's like, okay, I need somebody to fill this right now. And I'm talking as an employer right now. I really need to keep her. I really want to keep you, but I can't keep you right now because I need somebody to do your job. I don't want to fire you, but I cannot secure your job. Now, how would this short-term disability, I'm not looking out just for myself, I'm looking out for my employee too. Right. How do I position this to her so she can get this short-term disability? Is it something that I have to take care of, or is it something that she applies for somewhere else?
Yes, she applies through the state.
Okay.
And that's what that is. And again, FMLA, if that FMLA runs out, everything, excuse me, everything is at the discretion of the employee, right? So even if you have your 6 weeks and your 6 weeks run out, if the manager says, you know what, Tanisha's a great worker, I really don't want to lose her, and I know that she's really out sick, I'm gonna hire a temporary person, right? Because we do have temp workers that can work temporarily until you come back to work. I'm gonna hire a temp person to hold that position and do so she's not too far behind when she comes back. And then when she's done with her ADA or whatever she's done at that point, then we'll bring her back, right? So they can bring you back. That's at the manager's discretion. Yep.
Right. So what about this short-term disability? So you said I had to do that through the state.
Through the state. That's a state. Yeah, that's a state disability, state leave.
Okay, that's a state leave. So everybody doesn't get that. Everybody doesn't get that, but everybody
sign up for it, right?
You have to sign up for it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's through like social services, somewhere like that, or are we talking about
through your job?
Through your job.
Yeah, through your job, but through this, you have to go through the state to apply for it. If you go online and look up ADA, yeah, you can get the paperwork right offline.
Okay, so with the FMLA, every job, that's something that's mandated for every job has FMLA. Is that right?
FMLA is it's a federal leave. So yes, FMLA is a federal leave. However, check with your job because it depends on some jobs. You have to be at the job for a certain amount of time. You have to work a certain amount of hours. So I believe full time is like 25 or 1,200 hours or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But it's a certain amount of hours that you have to work in order for you to be eligible for it. So you can't go in there at 2 months and be like, oh, you know, whatever, I'm stressed. I didn't. You have to work for a certain amount of time before you're able to be eligible for it.
Wow. Dee Dee said, I never knew about FMLA years ago. The reason I stopped working 9 to 5 is because my mom had cancer and needed time off. I ended up quitting and finding a flexible job such as real estate.
Wow.
So some people who don't really know end up leaving their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like T said, because jobs don't really tell you about the benefits that you get, you know, when you sign on. And like something like this, I mean, if you don't go in already knowing, you'll do stuff like this, you know?
Yes.
And this is why it's very important. And oftentimes employees don't do it. If you get an employee handbook or employee guide, read the employee guide. If you get a union contract, read the union contract. All that stuff is laid out for you.
I'm guilty for that because I'll be like, okay.
Right. All that stuff is laid out for you.
We don't read.
Yeah, you have to read because it's in there. And then you come to HR and we're like, it's in your employee handbook. Everything is outlined in your employee handbook.
Yeah, but they sent you an orientation for 1,200 hours to tell you all the stuff that we could just hold off on. This is the stuff we want to sit in there and listen to.
Right.
You know, all that other.
But that's why I said
they're gonna tell you this stuff.
But look, that's a conflict right there that we should talk about. We should have a PD on what should be discussed
and
orientation.
Right, orientation.
What is discussed.
Yeah.
It's in the book. You gotta read the book. It's in there.
Yeah. Wow.
And talk about what happens when the person gets fired. Can you talk about that?
So as far as what do you mean? Fired?
Wow.
Or what happened? Like, why did they get fired? Like,
for anything.
And it causes a conflict. Like that, they close the doors, tell the person they not allowed, but that person said, my stuff up in there. I want my last check now. You not I didn't mail my work up in here. You not mailing my check up in here.
And that's like everything, you know what, everything that you need to know about work and things like that, rules and policies, literally you can Google all of that, right? Because when you go, so certain states require different things for your last check. Some states, your last check comes when your last scheduled pay period is. So it doesn't have to be, you know, the last day you work. Whereas states like California, which is kind of, they're very employee friendly. Your last check is due your last day or that last week or whatever within that time frame. So you have to Google that and see whenever your last day is, when the job is required to give you your last paycheck. Also, make sure you Google, jobs are gonna hate me. If your job, let's say your job is supposed to pay you your last paycheck on a certain day and they don't pay you, some states have a law that requires them to pay you up to 3 times your final paycheck if that paycheck is not paid to you on the day that the paycheck is due.
Say that again.
Let me
You said some states. Google.
Some states. You have to look up the state. I don't know the states because I haven't worked in all states. Some states, the state requires the employee to pay you on a certain day. Excuse me. If they don't pay you on a certain day, there is a law. Some states, there is a law that requires them to pay you an X amount of money on top of what they owe you that they didn't pay you. So let's say your check is for easy money. Let's say your last paycheck is supposed to be $100 and they didn't give it to you on the last day that they're supposed to give it to you. And then you find out that they didn't give it to you, then they can pay up to $300 for that amount of money that they were supposed to pay you. And that, again, like California, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it's one of those states where you have to pay it at a certain day or a certain time, or the employer, owes you extra money on top of that.
Wait a minute.
Know the rules, know the regulations.
Don't be going there. I heard it. Y'all supposed to pay me this money. Got on my check today. They don't get that check today. You owe me $500 extra. Give my money.
Google is your best friend.
Yes, that's what we have to educate ourselves to make sure we know
And
Yeah,
no-
make
Make
sure
sure
you
you
Google.
ask questions too.
Make
Wow.
sure you Google for your state.
Yes, make sure you Google it. Don't go on there human resource. They're like, wait a
It'd be
minute.
like, wait a
give my
minute,
money.
it is the 17th.
Be in the wrong state.
The pay me on the 15th. Run me my money.
And then human
Right.
resources pull out that policy. This was in your handbook that you got the
Right,
first day.
exactly. You can't read.
Did you
Oh
really
my
get this
God.
the first day that you read this handbook? Like,
Exactly.
That is funny.
Yep.
only thing we really reading, y'all, is how much they're gonna pay us an hour.
Oh my
Uh,
God. That would be me. I would be that
Me
employee.
too. How much you gonna pay me an hour?
Hour.
What deposit my money going in?
Right.
What day I get paid and what day my time sheet turned in. That's all I'm
Right.
looking at.
Right. You have to, yeah, we
Everything
have to
else,
read.
we'll
We
get to it
don't.
when it happens.
Right. We have to
Yeah.
read. We don't. We don't. Read and Google. Google and your employee handbook will give you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got a question from Ebony. She said,
Hey, Ebony girl.
Hey, Boo. It said, what if I was working on a team and everyone was senior specialist 3 and I was the only senior specialist 1? What does
that mean?
Does that mean anything?
So what do you, I'm not sure I understand the question. So if everyone is a specialist 3 and you're the only senior specialist 1, does that mean anything? It depends on what your experience is. Yeah. What like
Can
were
you
you
explain
hired
it
as a specialist 1?
Seniority.
Yeah,
It's
were you hired as a specialist 1?
One or one higher than 3? Are you saying why everybody is different on the teams, or
Right.
Is that what you're saying? You're trying to get it all in. While we waiting for her to answer that, a lot of times when we go into there for the unemployment, because I guess we went on down to fired to unemployed.
From
Okay.
fired to unemployed.
From
Okay.
fired to unemployed. So when you quit, okay, and again, Google all of this. When you quit, depending on your state, they hold your unemployment, right? Because they figure you had a job, you left the job, you're going to be penalized for 6 to 8 weeks, right? When you get fired, if you get fired for misconduct, gross misconduct, meaning you stole, you had a fight, or you did something that caused you to, blatantly get fired, you can also be either denied unemployment, or there is a withholding of the unemployment for 6 to 8 weeks. If you're fired for like job performance or behavior or something like that, 9 times out of 10, you can apply right away. Or if your job is eliminated or you're laid off, then you can apply right away. If you get laid off and you get a severance package, you can, a lot of people don't know this, you can collect your severance, you can get your severance, and you can collect unemployment at the same time. So you can get that severance package. So you're getting your regular paycheck for however many weeks you're getting that. You can also apply for unemployment that same time frame, and you're getting paid double technically, because you're getting your severance plus you're getting your unemployment checks.
So would you be able to get a severance pay and find another job? But when will your severance pay end?
Yes, when you get severance, let's say you get severance and you get 6 weeks severance and you find a job a month later, you're still getting that severance for 6 weeks. That severance is something separate. That's your old employer's agreement with you. So you can get a job while you're still collecting your severance. However, obviously you can't collect unemployment still, because that unemployment is just for the time that you're unemployed. But if your job says, okay, we're laying you off and it's because of whatever, and you're getting 8 weeks of severance pay, and you find a job after 2 weeks, you're still getting 6 more weeks of severance pay plus your money that you're making at your new job.
That's good. The severance, the job, because they are. I mean, it's not your fault that they're laying people.
Yep.
Okay, good. That's good.
And that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, that's good. And so sometimes
all in the handbook, right?
Yeah. Or it's also in that severance agreement that we don't read when we sign.
We ain't worried about that, because you ain't hired me to close down. You hired me to stay open.
Right.
Wow. Miss Ebony, you coming up with it? I guess she's still trying to type it in. She said, "I will explain." So that's some good information.
Some really good information.
Does anybody else have any more? Give us some thumbs up if you're liking this topic today. Even if you're up here and you are not responding, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that this is helping you, because as women, or either if men are up here too, this pertains to you too. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know that this is, good information. We ain't up here gossiping about nobody, y'all.
No.
If we was up here gossiping,
God, this was
we had 20,000 folks up here, 1,500 shares and everything. But we are talking.
And how she stole my boyfriend from the job we was working at. Everybody
up here chatting. We ain't up there talking about that, because that's not what we are about. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it on our own turn, but we ain't gonna tell on live. Nobody be listening to it. Ain't nobody business we be talking about. But because we all talk about it. But it's just the way you do stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to help out. So
and then you have an HR, they have an HR person at their leisure to ask whatever they want. So
well, we talk about conflict, so they probably can't even go to their HR person. Their HR person probably like, what?
See, that's why you need to talk to somebody that don't know you. See, I ain't say nobody don't know Nene, but the people that we didn't tag probably ain't gonna know Nene. You know what I'm saying? So you got somebody you can go. Her name is Nene Wendell. Like that here is like that on Facebook too. Talk to her, ask her a question. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here.
Ask somebody that you don't know to ask somebody that you do know. The people that you do know will tell you things.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth.
That's right. And she will. And Nene has helped me with stuff. When the pandemic first came in, I was doing business outside the state on something I had no idea what I was doing. And I called her and she helped me with these people's transactions. So, that's what I'm saying. I know we can get all this stuff done. Look, he came in here. Okay, so let's read Ebony. Let me go check on him.
I was working on a team, and we was all doing the same job, but the entire team were senior specialist 3, and I was expected to do the same job as a senior specialist 1, as a senior specialist 1. I just found out and thought I should speak to HR. However, I didn't know if it was a good idea. I was asked to be on this team, but position stayed the same. Okay. So they expected her to do the job that all these 3s were doing, but she was the one.
Now, with Ebony, when they asked you to move over to this team of 3s, did they tell you that? Because if you read the job description, obviously the 3s are doing something different than what you're doing as a 1. Do you know what that difference is? And if you're doing that same thing that the 3s are doing, then I will go to HR and say, hey, this is the 1, this is the 3. I'm doing exactly this 3. So I should be promoted to a 3 if I'm doing exactly the same thing. There's nothing different that I'm doing. So I would put the job description, and HR has the job descriptions for you. So they can show you what that, the job description is, so you can compare and see what you're doing compared to what the 3s are doing. And if you're doing the same exact thing, I would definitely ask for a pay raise.
That's right. Or like you said, if you didn't say this, ask how long she has to be in that position before she gets turned over to a different number.
But my thing is, if they asked her to be on this team of 3s and they're asking her to do the same thing, then obviously they know that she's capable of doing the job.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And you might be asking me, do I need to be the supervisor? Because you're bringing me from a 1 to a 3, then maybe the 3s don't know what they're doing. And I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to be supervising them, and I need to be making more than them.
Wow.
Because some going to have to give on one work.
I ain't bring no paper money. That's what we needed.
Paper money?
Come on, talk about our money, Nene. We're wrapping it on up. Yeah. How we know we going to what our worth is on our pay? You know what I'm saying? Like she said, and this wraps it up real good right here.
Yeah, because that creates conflict right there.
It does.
It does.
And
it definitely creates conflict.
People talking about how much money they get.
Right. And another thing too, and a lot of people are not afraid, but kind of leery or not wanting to advocate for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself, right? Because a job, if you go into work and you say, I'm going to work 60 hours a week and I'm going to get paid the same amount that somebody's working 40 hours a week, a job is not going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to give you a little bit more money unless you fight for that, unless you go in there and say, hey, this is what I do. I'm showing proof that these are the things that I do, and this is what I do well, and that I should be compensated for that. And there's nothing wrong with going there and asking for compensation. And again, if they give it to you, great. If they don't, then this is where you need to think of next steps of what you need to do to make your livelihood better, because it's a job is going to be there tomorrow, right? Whether you leave or stay, that job is going to be there tomorrow. Whether they fire you, you walk away, that job is going to be there tomorrow. So watch out for the loyalty that you give companies when they're not giving you that same loyalty and respect. Right. You have to worry about just your health. You have to worry about your work-life balance. You have to worry about your family. And if what you're doing isn't bringing all these things together and where you're comfortable and that you're not stressed out and you're not all these things that are not good mentally for yourself, then you have to think about that. A job, again, is going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there tomorrow. So keep that in mind as well.
Should read this one. Yep.
All right. So we have Miss Yvonne. Some businesses will move you up as a lateral move without giving the pay, promotion without pay.
That's what you just said.
That's true. And another thing too. So with lateral moves, I'm not upset about lateral moves. If the lateral move is giving you more responsibility, but know that lateral move is not supposed to be for long term for yourself. This is you talking to yourself, because when you make that lateral move, that's something you can add to your resume as skills that you gained while you were at that job. So if you're at a job for a year and then they move you laterally to another job and more responsibility, and you're there for another year and a half, you can then take that skill set that you've gained from that lateral move and add it onto your resume. Right. And then when you add that onto your resume, you can use those skills, that set of skills now to get you more money at another job. Right. So I'm not mad at lateral moves. Just don't stay there forever. I'm not upset at that at all. Like, gain your skills. And if you can cross train at other jobs, like in other departments and stuff like that, where you're not getting the money to do that, but you're gaining the skill, and the long term, that's going to work out for you even better. Because you're going to take that skill set that you learned and you can put that on your resume. I volunteered to cross train because I wanted to develop myself. So, and that's going to look good for you when you go and interview and add that onto your resume, that you have this cross training and that you've gained these other skills. And now I can do these things, and now you're going to pay me for it at another company.
That's it. That's good right there. That's good. That is really good. And I guess I'm gonna say this, and then y'all can finish up how we want to wrap it up. I think that's a good one, because even though you're not getting the money like you want, you're learning the skills that you need. And sometimes in these jobs, and I can see from my experience, I've learned a lot. When I was at DMV, I learned a lot. When I was working with Lincare, I learned lot from these other companies, because when I was working at DMV, I knew how to do customer service. I knew how to talk. I knew what the state said. I knew the things like that. When I worked with the pharmaceuticals company, they didn't want me working there. But guess what? They sent me and trained me to pay $500 for me to go and spend 2 weeks in Florida for me to do all this. But when I came out of there, I was already well prepared to do my own business. So even though I didn't get treated fairly, I still took those skills, because what you did is you trained me to be better in the profession that I am right now. So when I got on my own, I didn't have to do a whole lot of researching. I already had my HIPAA stuff paid for, and I already had all these things paid for. They showed me how to go in the doctor's office and talk to the doctors. They showed me how to get in. So when I got my own business, guess what? People already knew me. They saw me coming in for this doctor, for this one thing. Every time I came in, what you want? What kind of order you need? What kind of order I need? All I had to do was show up. And all they were doing was ready with their pen to write, because they knew that you were already qualified and skilled for what you was doing. So I'm just going to encourage somebody that's watching this now, because I don't know how far you might watch in and plug in. But if you're on a job and you're learning this skill, don't get discouraged because of a lot of conflict. You have to, like she said, you have to weigh it out. is this job messing up your health? Is it messing up your family or whatever? But if it's not, and you're getting it and you just want the extra money, how much can you gain from the knowledge that you're getting?
Right.
And once you get all that you need, then you can go somewhere else.
That's
It's
right.
good to go get an education and get some more training. But you know what? A lot of these jobs want the on-the-job experience. They want to know that you're knowledgeable.
Right.
You can go and take these classes at a community college or whatever, but all you're doing is learning the knowledge, but you're not getting the hands-on and you're not getting the experience with it.
Right.
All you know is the knowledge. Oh, I know there's a brown pad. Okay, but that's all you know because you see it. You heard me say it. But have you actually seen one of these? No, I ain't never seen one. Well, you don't know what to do with it because you ain't seen one. All you know, somebody's in a book, you saw it. What you do with this? Oh, I don't know. Well, you holding up as an employer, you wasting too much of my time.
Right.
You just seen this board 3 days and you ain't did nothing with it yet? You ain't got one more day.
Right.
What you gonna do with this board? I don't know, Miss Tanisha. I know. It's time for you to go. Because that piece of paper you got or whatever you got. Shoot, folks that know me, that work with me, they know how I roll. My whole attitude has changed when I get in this business. You know, if you don't know what to do with your stuff, either bump it up or bump it out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So take the skills that you have,
Yes.
better yourself. If you think you're not at a place where you being knowing your worth and you're not getting paid for what you do, take your skills after you didn't learn what you learned. Don't be so big and bad. I'm gonna be this job and you don't know nothing. So when you going to the next job and still ain't gonna know nothing.
That's right.
Take what you know and go somewhere else. And like I always tell people, everywhere I go, somebody say, I know Tanisha been here. Oh, yes, you do, baby. Oh, you know I've been here. Because don't let nobody do it better than you. You leave that job and say, you know what, I learned a lot from that girl. She ain't here no more. Let your name and let your work speak for you everywhere you go, but learn what you can get. Because you can't pay $1 on good work. You can't pay people enough money.
Exactly.
You got a good worker, you can't pay them enough. You got somebody that's gonna help your business move, you cannot pay them enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I did want to say that because that was like pressing me. And that's the thing. But
We
business,
know.
you a business, I mean, we get that business mindset, boy, it's like I'm a whole nother level, a different beast. You know, but that's a thing with me. My thing is if you give people the adequate information and give them what they need, they can be better. But if some people don't give you that because all they want you to do is stay right here. You know, that's I mean, that's what I wanted to say on that.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
sorry.
good stuff. Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm calm back now.
That was good.
You were passionate about that thing. You
That
brought
was good.
that.
Yeah.
You brought that in from the stomach. That came up from the
It
stomach.
did because if you know me, if you work with me, or if you know what type of work I do, you know I don't blame.
Yeah, that's
I go hard for my employees. I go hard for my people that work
As
with
you
me.
should,
I do. I go hard for them. And one thing is, I tell them all the time: if you can learn. If you can find something that's going to do it better, do. I mean, I ain't hurting you. I mean, I ain't trying to stop you.
right.
But I want you to be prepared. Don't go out there and don't try to shame me and go out there and then come back like a puppy down. You talking bad to me, you better make sure your britches on good. So you ain't coming back.
She can give you the business.
You gonna get
I have to agree. I have to admit, I just been promoted. This happened in my last position. So
Good.
we knew that promotion was coming because it just didn't sound right. Like, you know.
Got promoted when?
No, that's what Agnes said.
Oh, okay. I have to agree. Oh, I just been promoted. Oh. See,
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This right here, girl.
So that's
Thank
a good
you.
thing. That's a celebration.
Yes, that is.
That is.
That's a celebration.
Yes, congratulations, girl, on the promotion.
That's all right. But you know what? If you've been promoted then, and then you go into there and training them, if you training them or whichever one, whoever is whoever, all you doing is learning your stuff up, sis. Getting it.
Wow.
Well, y'all have any more comments or any more things? Because Nene, I think you popped it in today, girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
you
thank
did.
you.
That one.
Yeah.
So, in case they got more questions while they getting that together, what is going on with the life coaching? Tell us about that real quick.
Yeah.
And the Her.
Yeah.
So everybody will know what it is that you do and how they can come to your page and check you out, girl.
Yes. So I started a business, life coaching business called The Essence of Her. Her is an acronym for honoring everything reimagined. The website is theessenceofher.com. It's under construction right now, so because I'm adding in some blogs and adding in some oomph to it to give it a new look or whatever. But it is a business it's a life coaching business where I'm going to include diversity inclusion in that as well. So I'm using that as a platform to go and talk to companies about diversity with women and women of color, and the same thing with the life coaching business, where I'm helping professional women of color just through life and helping them, gain leverage. I'm using my HR in that as well. So anything from resumes to mock interviewing and things like that. So any looking to move within another career path or anything like that. So the essence of Her is just getting women back into the workforce and allowing them to fight, amongst men there and have a good foot in that fight.
Yes. And you know what? That's what us women need. We need to be able to be support to one another and let other women know, okay, I've been through this. Yeah. You can do it too.
Yeah.
We have two women up here that said that they had already done it. Denise Rick says she agreed. Prior comments before, she said she agreed and she left. Guess what? Denise has her own real estate. She's a real estate in there. That's great.
Awesome. Yeah.
To step out, you know what I'm saying? But especially when you, like I said, you don't see your work there, you can step out. So we employ her today. We congratulate her. Right. Got up here and she said that, she noticed a difference in her job on what was going on. And like she just said, she admits she was promoted. That's congratulations. Like a lot of women don't know what they can do. Just like you, Nene, you stepped out and did your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Sometimes it takes that struggle.
Yeah.
Is it a challenge or is it a struggle? Sometimes it is a challenge.
Yeah.
And we take this, and it becomes a struggle when we stay there too long because it's like it's pulling.
Yeah.
A challenge is something that you can meet. A struggle is something that you just. It's a difference.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we encourage all women, everybody that's up here, men and women like we're up here today. We encourage you to seek out what you really want. And go for it.
Yeah.
Don't let them hold you back. These conflicts in the workplace, if these women at work and they jealous of you, whatever, so what? Get your paycheck, go home.
Go home.
You gotta discuss what you're trying to do with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nene said, they ain't your friends.
That's right. That's right.
And y'all got these boyfriends at work. Like somebody said, we got work husband. These work husbands at work.
Just know I see them all. I see all the texts. I see all the videos. I see I see it all. When the stuff hits the fan and things happen, trust and believe HR, because we have to do investigations to see if it, whatever happened in that relationship. I see it all, and I don't want.
And she hears it all too.
Yeah.
Don't work. I can only imagine. But he was my work husband first. Now he was I could
see it all. Yeah.
And you see him is at work.
It's at work.
Work.
Yeah. I got a job. Y'all got work to do.
Got 2 jobs to do.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. But this was great.
It was good. Thank you so much, ladies, for having me on.
And thank everybody that joined, that will listen to it and join and comment. We will be paying attention. I try to put everything in the comments as we was going along.
Well, that's okay. We're getting better.
We're getting better at this thing.
Yeah, it was good.
But it was phenomenal. I learned a lot. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I did.
From conflicts to knowledge.
Yes.
Good.
It was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you.
What we doing there, we just got to do, Nene, if you would like to give us our words of encouragement for the week or our things for the week for our viewers. And before we do that, I want to tell Girl, Kia did her thing this week. Did y'all see our intro?
That was good. I was cheesing the whole time. I'm like, okay. Okay.
Give it to her. Give it to her.
I'm just
She
joking,
did
y'all.
that. I was like, oh my
Yes. That was awesome. Yes.
good.
Thank y'all. Thank
That was great.
you.
Yeah.
Wait, I try to share, tag people's names in the comments, because I guess what happens when you share it, we can't see all the comments on this page.
Right.
Because this page has a YouTube and our Tanisha Shakir page. We can't see all the comments. So if maybe some other people are viewing that we can't see, it's okay and it's fine. But we want like to get everybody on one dialogue.
One page,
one
right.
page, so we can comment, with them too.
Mhm.
But anyway, the floor is all yours, Nini.
Yeah, so I just want to say my words of encouragement and my I guess my closing out is read your manuals, read your employee manuals. EEOC and Department of Labor are there for your uses, for your usage. And your friends at work, just be careful, because again, there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to see that I see. And be an advocate for yourself, right? Don't wait for a company to promote you or for things to happen within a company. If you feel as though you're not valued, if you feel as though your work isn't being appreciated, move on. Unfortunately, and it's okay to do that. And it's okay. And again, make sure you guys laterally train. If it's a lateral move that's going to teach you more stuff, do it, and then add that stuff to your resume, and then take it with you wherever you go. They can never take that back from you.
Nope. All right. On that note, guys.
On that note,
we want to tell y'all, thank y'all. Have a great week.
have a great week.
And we should see y'all next Sunday. Next Sunday, we got a surprise. So just keep following our page and checking up and see what's going to be on next week. We ain't telling you this time. Oh, bye, y'all.
And if you're on right now, something should have popped up that says turn on notifications. Turn those notifications on, guys, so you can know when we are live.
Yes.
And stay tuned for next Sunday.
Yes.
Have a good and blessed week.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
Guys,
ladies.
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.